In the depths of the Ural Mountains, in the dead of winter, a group of experienced hikers vanished under terrifying and unexplained circumstances. Their frozen bodies, discovered weeks later, held horrifying injuries. Some crushed as if hit by a massive force, others stripped nearly naked in sub-zero temperatures. What happened to them on that fateful night? This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident. It was early 1959 when Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student, led a group of 9 hikers into the Siberian wilderness. They were young, fit, and experienced, prepared for the harsh conditions of the Ural Mountains. Their goal? To reach the peak of Otorten. What none of them knew was that they were walking into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in history. They traveled by train, bus, and finally on foot, braving the brutal cold. But by January 28th, one member, Yuri Yudin, had to turn back due to illness, an unfortunate setback that would ultimately save his life. The remaining 9 pressed on. By February 1st, the group reached a remote slope known as Kholat Syakhl, or Dead Mountain in the language of the local Mansi people. Instead of setting up camp in the forest below, where they would have more protection from the elements, they decided to pitch their tent on the exposed mountainside. The reason? No one knows for sure. That night, something terrible happened. Something that made them flee into the freezing darkness, barefoot and in a state of panic. When the hikers failed to return, their families raised the alarm. A search party was sent out, and weeks later, on February 26th, their tent was found. But what rescuers saw made no sense. The tent had been slashed open from the inside, as if the hikers had cut their way out in terror. Their belongings, warm clothing, and even shoes were still inside. But the hikers? Nowhere to be found. Footprints led down the slope. Oddly calm, as if they had walked, not run, away from the camp. The first 2 bodies were discovered near a cedar tree, barely clothed, with burned hands, as if they had desperately tried to start a fire to survive. The branches above were broken, suggesting someone had climbed it, perhaps to look for the tent or something else in the darkness. 3 more bodies were found between the tree and the tent, frozen in poses suggesting they had tried to crawl back. Hypothermia was listed as the cause of death. But it was the final 4 bodies, discovered months later, that sent shockwaves through investigators. These hikers had suffered massive internal injuries, fractured skulls, broken ribs, and one woman was missing her tongue. The force of the trauma was compared to a high-speed car crash, yet no external wounds indicated an attack. Even more bizarre, traces of radiation were found on their clothing. Theories about what happened that night range from the scientific to the supernatural. Some believe the group was caught in a sudden avalanche, forcing them to flee, but no signs of an avalanche were found. Others suggest military experiments. Was there secret Soviet weapon testing nearby? Could they have stumbled upon something they weren't meant to see? Then, there's the possibility of infrasound, a low-frequency vibration caused by wind that could have induced extreme panic, making the hikers hallucinate and flee. And of course, some believe they were attacked by something not of this world, an unknown force that left them with injuries no human could explain. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case and officially declared the cause of death as hypothermia due to an avalanche. But many experts disagree. The mystery remains unsolved, with new theories still emerging. What drove 9 experienced hikers into the freezing night, forcing them to their deaths? Was it nature, a secret military cover-up, or something far stranger? What do you think happened on that mountain? Leave your theories in the comments below. And if you love unraveling unsolved mysteries, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.